Now we have seen how we derive this particular condition here for a process X that follows the log normal process. Let's speak a bit more about what it really means for valuation under risk neutral probability density. Here, we're basically getting an expectation, the expected value of XT, the stock price at the maturity time of the derivative contract, with a little hat here to show that it's under the risk neutral expectation. So basically, you're taking an expectation at the risk neutral probability density function here. Now, we shown earlier this is supposed to be S naught e to the power R t rather than e to the power mu t. Now, why is this the case? Well, suppose you're allowed to, or you're given the opportunity to play a game where you have 50% chance to receive $1,100, and you have 50% chance you're gonna lose $1,000. Okay, so the payoff is in a year. So a year later, you either will receive $1,100 or you have to pay out $1,000. And if you look at it, each of them has 50% chance. So your expected value under the real world is really $50. And if you discount it back, is 45.2. Now, are you gonna play that game? If you pay me or pay the market $45, and then in a year, you can either receive 110 or you lose 1,100 or you lose 1,000. Well, a lot of people probably would not play that game because there's no advantage here. So if you play this over and over again, you really just, what you paid out as a ticket price to play that game is really your expected return here. So, and plus that in many of the cases, you can actually lose a lot of money. Although if you're lucky enough, you consistently, in this world where you'll be receiving $1,100, $1,100 again and again, it's possible. But on the other hand, it's also possible that you will continue to lose money here. So, you will play many times, you'll probably get the average, and that's basically your ticket price. So a lot of people would not play that game because people are somewhat risk averse. But if I were to say that, okay, instead of the ticket price being $45 to allow you to play that game, if your ticket price is $25, so there will be some people playing that game, because in this case here, if you play the game long enough, you actually do have an advantage because the amount you paid is less than the expected value that you will gain in the market here. So you may consider playing this game. If you have the opportunity to play that again and again, and you have a fairly deep pocket, then for those people, then you'll be attracted to play this particular game. So what are we showing here? Basically, what we're saying here, if you just take the expectation and the real world payoff and just discount it back, that's not the price you will see in the market, because people is not going to enter into a contract like that. So they will consider the price being too high because their risk is not being compensated. But if you have compensated them, I don't know whether in this case the $20 is the right price to compensate that, but it is a price to compensate, and some people may choose to buy at this risk premium price. So if there are just a small number of people buying this, that means the risk price, the risk premium is probably not enough. So if there are more people willing to supply this game, then the people playing this game are not in equilibrium. Which means that the $20 is probably not enough. But if $20 is such a case where the number of people supplying this game and the people that are playing this game are exactly the same, so the demand and supply balances in the market, that means this is the right risk premium and this is the right price for the market. So this demonstrates that in order for people to enter into a financial contract, they need to be compensated for risk premium. And so the expectation here is the payoff minus the risk premium. Then if you have this change the expectation that in such a way that you still put in the payoff here, but the expectation is taken under a different probability measure to get exactly the same price. So this probability density will be the risk neutral probability density, because all you need to do is just to take expectation under that particular probability density function. Okay, so the risk neutral distribution reduces the payoff. So essentially, your expected payoff under risk neutral is smaller than the expected payoff under the real world probability here. So without a hat, it denotes for expectation under real world probability density, and if a hat here denotes a expectation taken under the risk neutral probability density. And you will see that the expectation taken under the risk neutral probability density will give you a smaller number than the expectation taken under the real world probability density. Okay, and the difference is basically to compensate for taking risk. To show another example, often you will hear something like people will say ND2 is the probability that a call is in the money. Is this a correct statement? Well, actually, this is probably, it depends how you look at it. This is only a correct statement if you're under the risk neutral measure. So ND2 is not the probability that the call is in the money in the real world. ND2 is the probability that the call is in the money under the risk neutral probability measure. And you should expect to see the probability in the real world that the call is in the money higher than what is being specified here. So if ND2 gives you like 60%, that 60% is a risk neutral probability. So if you are able to play that game many times in the real world probability density, under the real world probability density, you will actually should see that the probability of that call be in the money higher than 60%. And the difference, again, is to compensate for the risk that you are taking by having that particular call.